So the Carolina Panthers are the worst team in football right now. They're 1-6 and at the bottom of the NFL standings. And I gotta say that I think the biggest stopgap for this team has to be the quarterback position. With Bryce Young being benched early in the season, playing terribly, and really losing all confidence. Andy Dalton has stepped in. He went off in the first game, but then they've just sputtered. They got blown out by the Commanders recently. I mean, it's just been a nightmare for the Carolina Panthers. So I want to see if we take who's considered pretty much the best quarterback in football in Patrick Mahomes, definitely in Madden. We're going to move him over to the Carolina Panthers and see if him and Bryce Young switch spots. How do the Chiefs perform with Bryce Young? And how do the Panthers perform with Patrick Mahomes? Can Patrick Mahomes save this Panthers team? We're about to find out, man. We're losing. We're not controlling anything. We just have Patrick Mahomes as the starter, and everything else is automated. So if he gets traded, whatever, that's on them. I don't think he will, but we shouldn't have to re-sign at all. So Patrick Mahomes, can he lead the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl as he's done with the Chiefs time and time again? We're about to find out. Let's go. So obviously, Patrick Mahomes has a lot less to work with than the Chiefs. You know, he's losing a lot of his star power. Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, all these guys, and, you know, Isaiah Pacheco. He has a lot less to work with. It's going to be interesting to see also the scheme changes, how he can perform. Can he battle through adversity and put up MVP type seasons? Let's lock in and find out. All right, season number 1, the Panthers miss the playoffs and go 9-8 with Patrick Mahomes under center. The salary cap is negative $22 million because of Patrick Mahomes' contract. What were the stats like in season number 1? Looks like Patrick Mahomes went 4,200 yards, 36 touchdowns, 8 picks. That is much better than they were going to get from Bryce Young or Andy Dalton. Now let's take a look at the Chiefs and how they fared with Bryce Young at the helm. Bryce Young goes 4,700 yards, 50 touchdowns, 19 interceptions. Are you kidding me? That's a monster season. The Chiefs scheme is insane. How many he was a 69 overall when he got traded. He is up to a temp 85 overall. What? Oh my God, it's ridiculous. And let me guess, the Chiefs are in the playoffs. Bryce Young also leads the Chiefs to a playoff berth as the 7th seed with a 50 touchdown season. Maybe we can get into the playoffs in season 2. Looks like we got some pretty good stats for Patrick Mahomes in year number 1. Not a single 1,000-yard receiver, but Leggett, David Moore, and Deontay Johnson all did pretty much the same thing. And Bryce Young does get a W in the playoffs, 31-21 over the Steelers, but he loses in the second round to the Buffalo Bills, who are in the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, year number 2, and the Panthers made little to no improvement on the offense. Didn't really draft elite offensive line. They didn't draft a good tight end. They did not draft a good receiver. And defensively, they made little to no improvement as well. So, like, I mean, literally, Patrick Mahomes is going to have to defy the odds here in year 2. All right, season number 2, your Panthers go 7-10. Patrick Mahomes has now missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. He may not be able to save this team. The Chiefs, again, secure the 7 seed on the other side. Let's go take a look at the stats. Patrick Mahomes, 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, but threw 17 picks this year. Did not play very good. Turned the ball over a lot. Probably the reason why we only won 7 games. Bryce Young as well threw a bunch of picks. Still 42 touchdowns, 4,500 yards. Gets the better of Patrick Mahomes once again, but does have the better scheme fit. Now, he still has not gotten a dev upgrade, and he's only up to an 82 overall. But I'll take Patrick Mahomes all day. Be interesting to see how the longevity of this thing plays out. Receiving, again, not a 1,000-yard receiver. Deontay Johnson just short, 10 touchdowns, but not really developing this group of receivers the way I would hope Patrick Mahomes would. They need to invest in the offensive line in the offseason. We're on to year 3. Also, Bryce Young goes out in the first round to the 2-seeded Baltimore Ravens. Okay, this team is only getting worse, and this is kind of how it goes when the CPU's allowed to draft and do everything. I mean, it's a dumpster fire. They're not even replacing the tackles. They're not drafting receivers. Like, the running backs are developing fine. Brooks is not even starting right now. Like, And I'm not adjusting the depth chart. We said that. Defensively, they did get a superstar outside linebacker. They did draft a defensive end. And they did get J.C. Horn up to superstar. Fuller regressed. So, I mean, like, they're ramping, they're, you know, getting the defense in a better situation. But, like, overall, Trevor Wallace also regressed. But, like, overall, it's not, they're not doing a good job of building around Mahomes. And, again, he's going to have to do it all himself. And your Panthers, in Patrick Mahomes' third year, put it all together. We are in the wild card, 11-6. And a new ability unlocked for that superstar outside linebacker. We're not too worried about that. Let's check out the stats. Chiefs back in the playoffs once again. Pat Mahomes, only 3,700 yards. Did have 32 touchdowns, 8 picks. Receiving, Leggett leads the way, but really nothing insane again. I mean, is it just the defense that's going insane? Like, what's happening here? Yeah, I mean, 2 double-digit sackers. Both the young guy, one's a rookie, one's a second year. Bryce Young again, he goes 5,000 yards this time, 48 touchdowns, 23 picks, and led them to the same record, 11-6, I believe. We'll see who gets the best situation this time. Chiefs 2 seed, Panthers got the 2 seed. Will we be upset? We will be upset in the wild card. Pat Mahomes falls to the 7 seed Green Bay Packers, 37-31. The defense could not get the job done. The Chiefs move on with a 37-35 win over the Broncos. Pat Mahomes, no playoff wins, 3 years in Carolina, but maybe turning the tide. No Super Bowl berth for Bryce Young again, though. He falls to the Jets 27-10 in the divisional round. He is putting up monster stats, but it's not generating Super Bowls at the level that Patrick Mahomes did. All right, season number 4 for Pat Mahomes, and this team is not looking great. Receiver position, Leggett is developing, and the running backs are good, but everyone else is regressing. They did draft a tackle who's not very good. Gonna have to do it himself again. Defense, they didn't re-sign the superstar outside linebacker that was a second year, or he's injured. No, he's injured, okay. But he is an X factor now, so defense actually looks pretty damn good. J.C. Horn did regress from superstar, his new superstar to star. See what Pat Mahomes can do in year number 4 in Carolina. This ends when he retires. All right, 9-8 record in season 4 under Patrick Mahomes in Carolina, and another wild card berth against the Green Bay Packers. This time, we are the lower seed. Let's check out the stats here. Chiefs back in the playoffs once again. Pat Mahomes, 3,900 yards, 33 touchdowns, 8 picks. He's just not throwing a lot of touchdowns and not a lot of yards, to be honest. Chuba Hubbard now led the way. Only 500, almost a clean split. Only 500 yards and 10 touchdowns for Brooks. It was just not a good offense. We still haven't gotten a 1,000-yard receiver either. Like, come on, dude. Bryce Young kind of took a step back, you know, from his previous years. Still 4,600 yards, but nothing crazy. So, did lead him to another playoff berth, though. And let's see if we can get our first playoff win under Patrick Mahomes in Carolina. We do not. We lose again to the Packers in the wild card round. So, to say Patrick Mahomes could do the same thing in Carolina, I don't think so. We're seeing the evidence. He's not doing it. And Bryce Young falls to the Ravens, 28-24 in the divisional. We have not seen the Chiefs in the Super Bowl yet under Bryce Young. That feels pretty, you know, I would be amazed if he had made it. To say Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are a match made in heaven, they need each other. There's a dependency. I think we're finding that out. On to year 5. I will say the fact that Patrick Mahomes has willed this team to back-to-back playoff berths is pretty, you know, it's pretty great. This is not a good team, and he's finding a way to get it done versus Bryce Young and the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs are a great team in Madden, so they're like an 88 overall. So they did draft a backup running back. Chuba Hubbard is out. It's Brooks now. Didn't draft any good receivers. Offensive line is getting younger, developing, but all normal dev. Jatavion Sanders is starting to develop. But Patrick Mahomes is now starting to get kind of older. He's 32, still a 99 overall, but is regressing. Not aggressively yet, but he will begin to regress. So we'll see how long he plays. Like I said, this ends when he retires. 12-5 record under Patrick Mahomes gets us the 1 seed in the NFC and a first round bye. Patrick Mahomes is carrying this Carolina team, now up to an 84 overall. Things are getting better. And the Chiefs went 14-3 and also secured the 1 seed, I believe. No, the 2 seed. AFC was stacked. 4,100 yards, 30 touchdowns. Dude, he's not putting up good stats in Carolina. I'm sorry. Jonathan Brooks had a monster season, 1,000 touchdowns or 1,000 yards. We get 2,000-yard receivers in Leggett and Johnson. Each went for 1,000 yards and 10 TDs. Chiefs also had 2,000-yard receivers, and Bryce Young goes 4,400 yards, 41 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. It's safe to say that the Chiefs scheme is great for quarterbacks in Madden. Bryce Young finding a way to have extreme success and honestly outplaying Patrick Mahomes. But hey, 12-5 record. We don't need to play a wild card game. We're automatically to our farthest point yet. We are taking on the San Francisco 49ers in the divisional, and we win. We are in the NFC Championship. Patrick Mahomes took him 4 seasons of losing to make it here, and are the Chiefs on the other side still in it? They are out. We have officially made it farther than the Chiefs in the playoffs. They have not made it to an AFC Championship in this thing yet. We have now made it to the conference championship against the Bears and Caleb Williams. And we win 31-17. Patrick Mahomes is taking the Panthers to the Super Bowl to take on the Houston Texans. A Super Bowl opportunity for the Panthers. Can Patrick Mahomes get it done? No! We get blown out in the Super Bowl 31-10. Patrick Mahomes just outplayed and outmatched by the Houston Texans in this one, but we did make it to a Super Bowl, which is more than you can say about Bryce Young on the Chiefs. Got to get back to the Super Bowl, Pat. You've done it for the Chiefs. Do it for the Panthers. Patrick Mahomes now regressing at 33 years old. He's lost his 99 overall down to a 96. He does have a superstar running back now. He's got Xavier Leggett up to an 87. Offensive line, all normals, but it's not terrible. Best overall team he's had. He has 2 X-Factor pass rushers. So, I mean, there's a road for him to lead them back to the Super Bowl. It's just going to take some fight. Here we go. 14-3 record. Patrick Mahomes has figured out the recipe for success in Carolina, and we are a perennial playoff contender. The Chiefs on the other side are the 1 seed. So, both now full throttle thriving for both Bryce Young and Patrick Mahomes, but we went to the Super Bowl. Could it be a Bryce Young versus Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl? Only 30 touchdowns. Like, he does not throw a lot of touchdowns in Carolina. 9 picks. Jonathan Brooks, another 13 TDs. Blaylock leads the way. Leggett was injured, only played 13 games. He doesn't really have the receivers to, like, put up elite numbers. He just really doesn't. Chiefs, Bryce Young, big step back. We actually outplayed him this year. 3,800 yards, 35 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Taking on the Dallas Cowboys in the divisional. We got 2 wins between us and back-to-back Super Bowl berths. Taking down the Cowboys, 32-31, a shootout. We're now taking on the New York Giants. 1 win between us and a Super Bowl berth. Get blown out by the Houston Texans, the 7 seed. They're done. Again, Bryce Young unable to make it past the divisional. And I guess just doesn't really have what it takes to get to the bowl. Patrick Mahomes, another win. We're back to the Super Bowl once again. Back-to-back Super Bowl berths for the Carolina Panthers. And we're taking on the Buffalo Bills. They're 8-9. They squeaked in at 8-9 and make it all the way to the bowl. Can Patrick Mahomes win his first Super Bowl with the Panthers, or will he lose back-to-back? We handle business. Big time win. 45 points. 45-27. We also won. Panthers won Coach of the Year. But Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP. He gets back-to-back Super Bowl berths and a Super Bowl win. It's safe to say he did save the Carolina Panthers. And all they had to do was trade Bryce Young for him. Fair trade. So Pat Mahomes in year number 7, coming off back-to-back Super Bowl berths and a Super Bowl win, has made the playoffs 4 consecutive years. He's got 1 Super Bowl win and has consistently thrown over 30 touchdowns in every single season in Carolina. You know, really good. His worst season was 3,700 yards, yardage-wise. I mean, he's been very consistent and looking to continue, but he is regressing down to a 92 overall. He's 34 years old. The team is the best it has been at an 87 overall, so it'll be interesting to see how this season shakes out. 11-6, back to the Super Bowl for a 5th year in a row and looking to repeat as Super Bowl champions. The Chiefs are out. Did not make it this year. First year under Bryce Young, they do not make the playoffs. And let's take a look at the stats. Big year for Pat Mahomes. Holy smokes, 4,400 yards through 46 touchdowns, 16 picks, 1,000 yards and 10 TDs for Brooks, 1,000 yards for this new receiver they brought in. Eli Gaither had 11 touchdowns. Blaylock almost 1,000. Same with Leggett. A lot to go around. Bryce Young, 4,100 yards, 39 touchdowns, 16 picks, but didn't get the job done. Chiefs are out of the playoffs, and Panthers have a chance to get back to the ball for the 3rd year in a row. But it won't be the case. We fall to the Detroit Lions in the wild card, 28-13. We got blown out. I guess a 2-score game, but still, it wasn't close. And Patrick Mahomes is 35 years old now, or gonna be 35. He could retire at any moment. All right, Patrick Mahomes back for an 8th season in Carolina and his 15th in the NFL. He is 35 years old now, 91 overall, still very, very, very good. He could absolutely bring this team back to the playoffs. I expect him to. All right, Pat Mahomes not slowing down, 13-4 and a 1 seed once again. The Chiefs do make it back in as the 3 seed. A path to the Super Bowl once again in sight. 4,100 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 picks, continuing a streak of 30 touchdown seasons. 1,000 yards is 16 TDs for the rookie Jose Raymond. 16 touchdowns. Holy shit. Lackluster season for Jonathan Brooks, but Jabari Jones, the backup, goes for 12 touchdowns because Jonathan Brooks got injured and only played 11 games. Bryce Young goes 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns. He's kind of taking a step back, but still a good season, man, and did get the 3 seed. Okay, it took them a while to put this team together, but this Carolina team's up to an 88 overall. Like, they really did build around Pat Mahomes and hit on a lot of their defensive picks and offensive picks, and this team is now looking to get revenge against the Lions, go back to the NFC Championship. And they do. 31-13 revenge win over the Lions. We're 1 win away from our 3rd Super Bowl berth and trying to get Pat Mahomes' 2nd in Carolina. 24-14 win over the 9-8 Seahawks, who were only an 81 overall. We're back to the Super Bowl, and we're taking on the Chiefs. We're taking on Bryce Young and the Chiefs. What a story this would be. If Pat Mahomes retires after this, this would be one for the books. We've got to go win it. Gotta go win it, man. Nothing else left to do. Go get it done. A 28-24 win for the Panthers. We take down Bryce Young and the Chiefs. And what a statement win. The cherry on top for Patrick Mahomes in Carolina. He gets back to the Super Bowl, wins Super Bowl MVP. He's now had 3 Super Bowl berths and 2 wins in the last 3 years. Pretty incredible stuff, man. He has completely turned around this Carolina team, and it'll be interesting to see if he returns for another season. Patrick Mahomes still playing for the Carolina Panthers. He's 36 years old, still an 88 overall, and still very, very good. Definitely losing some accuracy, but he's got 2 Super Bowl wins with the Panthers now. Been very consistent. Leggett is regressing now. He's down to a 79. It'll be interesting to see what happens, man. We're down to an 85 overall. Can we get back to the playoffs? Pat Mahomes could retire after the season legitimately at any moment. Okay, 8-9 record and potentially Patrick Mahomes' last season. We do not make the playoffs. Things fall off the rails. The Chiefs as well did not make the playoffs, so neither of our QBs in question did anything to make, Patrick Mahomes is regressing, 3,800 yards, 29 touchdowns, 15 picks. The Chiefs and Bryce Young still there, by the way. They re-sign him. 3,900 yards, 34 touchdowns, 14 picks. Has he gone up in dev? He is a superstar and an 88 overall. And let's see if Pat Mahomes comes back for his age 37 season to try and will his team back to a playoff berth after missing them in 2032. Patrick Mahomes has not retired. Looks like he's saddling up for another season. Pat Mahomes is gone. No more Patrick Mahomes on the Panthers. And regardless of him retiring, that will be the end of his stint with the Panthers. So let's go find him and look back on his performance. So Patrick Mahomes is a Cowboy now and is down to an 85 overall, is down to superstar. Panthers had enough after him missing the playoffs. They said the wheels have fallen off and it's time to move on. Let's check out his final stats in Carolina. Final year was the only year he went less than 30 touchdowns. He went 46 touchdowns was the peak in 2030. But we won the Super Bowl in 2031 and we won the Super Bowl in 2029. But yeah, played exceptionally well, made the playoffs all but 3 years. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seasons in Carolina, made the playoffs 6 times, went to the Super Bowl 3 times, and won 2 Super Bowls. It's safe to say that Patrick Mahomes definitely saved the Carolina Panthers and outperformed Bryce Young, including in his second to last year, beat Bryce Young in the Super Bowl, man. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comments what situation you want to see me play out next. And remember, if you did enjoy the video, drop a like for your boy. Catch you in the next one. Peace.